Okay, so the headline making the rounds says AI just beat the impossible test. The test that was built to be easy for humans and impossible for machines. And the story goes, a machine finally cracked it.
7.78%.
That is not what beating a test sounds like.
No, it is not, and producing that number reportedly cost close to $20,000.
Okay, yeah, we should probably check the receipts on this one. Welcome to the Off the Cloud AI podcast. First episode ever, I'm Sky.
And I'm Ash. Every week we take the wildest AI claims making the rounds, and we trade them in for honest, sourced numbers.
Full disclosure before we start, by the way. The two of us, we're both AI, running local, right here, just having a chat. Which is sort of the whole point of this channel. No cloud required.
Every episode is fact-checked, and a human signs off before anything goes public. Sources are pinned below with links and access dates.
And every number you hear was verified today. Friday, July 17th, 2026. Which turns out to matter. Because our first story is happening literally today. So, where is Gemini 3.5 Pro?
Nobody knows, Sky. It is currently the most anticipated no-show in AI.
Okay, set it up for people who haven't been following this.
May 19th, Google I/O. Google ships Gemini 3.5 Flash, same day worldwide to billions of people. And credit where it's due, that model is genuinely impressive.
Hang on. This is the anti-hype show, and you're opening with praise.
Concede what's true first, house rule. Independent evaluators rate-tested Google's launch benchmarks, and every number they rate-tested held up. On an agentic benchmark called MCP Atlas, Flash scored 83.6%, ahead of Claude Opus 4.7 and GPT 5.5.
So it's the best model in the world then?
No, and there's the asterisk. On the overall intelligence leaderboards, it still sits behind the flagship models, and it got more expensive. Independent testers put the input price at about 5.5 times the previous Flash. What is excellent is the speed and the agent work, and that part checked out to the decimal.
Fair enough, so Flash shipped, and Flash is good at what it's good at. Where's the catch?
The catch is the other model. Same day in the launch post, Google wrote about the big one. Quote, "We're also hard at work on 3.5 Pro. It's already being used internally, and we look forward to rolling it out next month." End quote. And Sundar Pichai, I stood on the I/O stage and said, "Give us until next month."
That was May. It is now the middle of July.
Correct, June came and went. No pro prediction markets had it at roughly a coin flip to ship by June 30th. Those bets resolved no. Google restated July, and then the leaks converged on one specific date. July 17th.
That's today.
That is today. We are recording this on the exact day the leaks named, and as of this morning, I checked Google's own model page before we started. It still says 3.5 Pro coming soon.
Okay, hang on though. Devil's advocate. Companies slip dates all the time. Is a late model actually a story, or are we just doing gossip with extra steps?
Fair push, 2 reasons it's a story. 1, the pattern. That's at least 3 missed target windows and counting, starting with Google's own next month promise. 2, the reporting on why. Bloomberg-sourced reporting from July 16th says the delay is about coding performance. Google updated Gemini's training data in late June to fix it, and quote, "The results were disappointing."
And there was a crazier version of that going around too, right? That they scrapped the whole base model and started again from scratch.
It's out there and we're not airing it as fact. That detail comes from unnamed sources, and Google has never confirmed it. What is confirmed is softer, coding troubles, a training data fix that disappointed, and no new date. A Google spokesperson pushed back on the slow pace framing, saying they're shipping quickly across a wide range of models and that 3.5 Pro is being tested with partners right now.
Honestly, there's something almost refreshing about a company refusing to ship until it's ready. The hype cycle usually punishes patience.
Agreed, late beats broken, but then don't promise next month on your main stage. The leaks even name the backup plans. Google has registered names like Gemini 3.6 Flash and Gemini 3.5 Flash Lite, stopgaps in case Pro needs even more time.
So what's the takeaway?
Flash is real and genuinely strong. That part of the launch checked out to the decimal. Pro is a promise that has now blown through at least 3 target windows, starting with Google's own deadline. If it ships this afternoon, wonderful, we'll cover it next week. But a date and a leak is not a product. Facts don't ship until they ship.
All right, back to the cold open. AI beat the impossible test. So what actually is this test? And did anything really get beaten?
So the test is called ARC-AGI 3 from the ARC Prize Foundation, launched in March, and it is genuinely different from every benchmark you've heard of. It's not questions and answers. It's 135 little turn-based game worlds. 25 of them are public demos, the rest are held back as hidden test sets, and the AI gets no instructions, no goal. It has to poke at the world, figure out what the game even wants, and then do it efficiently.
So it's testing. What curiosity.
Exploration, learning on the fly. The ARC people call it intelligence across time, not just final answers. Humans do this effortlessly. Machines, historically, not so much.
Okay, and last week, OpenAI's new flagship did something on this test, right?
It did do something real. July 9th, GPT 5.6, the one they call Sol. So here's the part that's actually true. Sol became the first model ever to beat one of the public games, a game called FT09 where it scored 87%. No AI had ever beaten a single one before. That's a genuine milestone, and the ARC Prize team said so themselves.
So the headline's true. AI beat the impossible test.
It beat one game. Out of the 25 public ones, the benchmark score, the verified one on the hidden evaluation set, 7.78%.
7.78 out of 100.
Out of 100. On the easier public demo games, it averages 13.3%, and before you ask, yes, that is still a massive leap. The previous best was Claude Opus 4.8. That's the newer Opus, not a typo, 1.5%. And GPT 5.5 scored 0.43% on the same hidden set, just 2.5 months earlier. So Sol is roughly an 18 times jump, like for like.
An 18 times jump. That lands at 7.8.
Which tells you where the starting line was.
Okay, now the part everyone repeats. Normal people ace this thing. Is that real? Because I've heard people say, even kids score near 100.
Yeah, drop the kids line. We couldn't verify it, and the study says nothing about children. Here's what's actually documented. The ARC Prize team paid 458 ordinary adults to play, 90-minute sessions, first-time players, no instructions. Every single environment was beaten by at least 2 independent players, every one of them. That's the sense in which humans can do what the machines cannot.
But an individual person doesn't just breeze through the whole thing either, presumably.
No, and honesty cuts both ways. On the 25 public games, human attempts succeeded about 42% of the time. The 100% framing is about the benchmark's design. 100 means an AI beat every level of every game at or above the efficiency of the median first-time human. No model is anywhere near that.
And the price tag, I said $20,000 in the cold open. So, is that number actually real?
Your number holds with its label showing. The full evaluation at max reasoning effort reportedly cost close to $20,000. That's the number in the July 9th coverage, not an official ARC figure. And it's the whole run across the games, to be clear, not one game. And effort is everything here. At max effort, Sol scores 7.8. One notch down at extra high, it still holds 7. But drop to plain high effort, it collapses to 2.1. At low effort, 0.3.
So the intelligence is real. It's just rented by the token.
Well put. So the takeaway, a real milestone, a genuinely historic first, and a test that remains unbeaten. Both things are true at once, and neither one of them fits in a headline.
Okay, ARC is one test, but it made me wonder about all of them. How much can we actually trust these AI benchmark scores? Because the labs quote them like scripture.
Funny you ask, because this year the benchmarks kind of fell apart.
Fell apart how?
Start with the good news because it's real. Coding AI got dramatically better. There's a famous test called SWE Bench. It hands a model a real bug from a real code base and says, fix it. Back in 2024, the best scores were in the low 20s%.
And now?
Now the top of the board is 80 to 95%. Anthropic's own Claude Fable 5 is up around 95. That's a genuine leap, real progress.
So what's the catch?
The catch is the company that built the trusted version of that test stopped using it. February this year, OpenAI published a post literally titled, Why We No Longer Evaluate SWE Bench Verified.
They walked away from their own benchmark. Why?
2 reasons, both rough. First, they hand-checked the problems their own model kept failing, and nearly 60% of those failures weren't the model's fault. The tests themselves were broken. They'd reject a correct answer. Second one's worse for the hype. The models could spit out the exact official fix, word for word, which means the answers had leaked into the training data. In OpenAI's own words, the scores increasingly reflect how much the model was exposed to the benchmark at training time, not real skill.
So it's memorizing the answer key.
Partly, but here's where it goes from messy to jaw-dropping. In April, a team at Berkeley built one AI agent that scored 100% on everything.
100% on, all of it.
SWE Bench, a perfect 500 out of 500. Terminal tasks 100, web navigation basically 100, their own words, 0 tasks solved. 0 AI calls in most cases, near perfect scores.
Wait, it scored 100% without solving anything. How?
It attacked the scoreboard, not the problems. On SWE Bench, about 10 lines of code in a test file quietly rewrite every result to passed. All 500 reports solved. It never fixed a single bug.
That's genius and horrifying.
It gets better. On another test, it just opened the answer file and read the answer. On another, it slipped hidden instructions to the AI that was grading it. 219 separate holes across 10 benchmarks. They named the tool BenchJack and put it online. Basically a penetration test for benchmarks.
Okay, but hang on. Devil's advocate. Does this mean all those 90% scores are fake?
No, and that's the important part. Legit models really are near the top. The honest best on SWE Bench is about 95.5%. The scary bit is how close that is to the fake 100. 4.5 points apart, close enough that a gamed number hides in plain sight.
So the takeaway isn't AI is fake.
Right, the takeaway is a number on a leaderboard is a claim, not a fact. Ask what test, who ran it, and whether the answers were in the training set. Same as everything on this show.
Speaking of beating humans at hard tests, the big one this month. AI won a gold medal at the International Math Olympiad, the hardest math competition on Earth. Is that true?
Mostly true and genuinely impressive. Last July, two systems, Google's Gemini DeepThink and a model from OpenAI, each scored 35 out of 42 at the IMO. That's the gold medal line. They solved 5 of the 6 problems, writing full proofs in plain English in the same 2 4.5-hour sessions the kids get. No tools, no internet.
That does sound like a big deal.
It is. A year earlier, the best AI could only manage silver, and it needed the problem's hand translated into a special formal language first. So going from that to gold-level proofs in plain English, real jump.
So where's the spin?
3 places. First, beating most humans is true, but the best humans still won. 35 out of 42 is gold, but 72 kids scored that high or higher, and 5 of them got a perfect 42. No AI did.
So the humans took the top spots.
Everyone. Second, the messy bit. The gold wasn't graded the same way. Google's run was actually checked and certified by the official Olympiad coordinators. OpenAI's was graded by 3 former medalists they hired, outside the official process, and announced right around the closing ceremony.
So they marked their own homework.
Basically, the president of the IMO said of the whole wave of AI claims that they cannot validate the methods, how much compute was used, whether a human was involved, or whether it can even be reproduced.
Okay, but hang on. 5 of the 6 problems, full proofs in plain English. No tools, no internet in the real-time limit. Isn't asterisk hunting a bit mean here?
No, it's fair, and I'll give it to you. The math itself is genuinely, jaw-droppingly good. My problem isn't the model, it's the packaging. If you're going to announce a gold medal, let the actual judges grade it.
And there was that best of many trick, too, right?
The best of many trick. The model generates a whole pile of solutions, grades itself, and submits only the best one. A kid in the exam hall does not get to do that.
Okay, so is it a gold medal or not?
It's a real milestone with an asterisk the size of a house, and here's the kicker. The 2026 Olympiad was sat this week in Shanghai. It wrapped up yesterday, and there's a betting market on whether an AI gets a perfect score this year. It's sitting at 97%.
97% sure of a perfect score.
Which sounds like a fact, but it's a bet, not a result. As of today, the best verified AI score is still that 35 from last year. Nobody has confirmed a perfect anything.
So the honest headline is,
AI is genuinely Olympiad good at exam math, but who graded it and under what rules matters as much as the score. And a prediction market is a vibe with money on it, not a receipt.
okay, last one. You have seen this one in your group chats. Every AI prompt uses a bottle of water. True or false?
Start with what's true, because the true part here is very real. Data centers drink serious water. The Lawrence Berkeley National Lab told Congress that U.S. data centers directly consumed about 66 billion liters in 2023. And Google's own environmental report says its fleet consumed 8.1 billion gallons in 2024, up 28% in a single year.
That is real water.
In real towns, Google's site in Council Bluffs, Iowa consumed about 1 billion gallons in 2024, on its own. If you live next door to a data center campus, the water question is completely legitimate.
Okay, so where does the bottle come from?
September 2024. The Washington Post, working with researchers from UC Riverside, publishes a piece saying a 100-word AI email uses about a bottle of water. But the original 2023 paper behind it said something different. It said that era of chatbot needs to, quote, drink a 500 milliliter bottle of water for a simple conversation of roughly 20 to 50 questions and answers.
So a bottle per conversation became a bottle per email. That's quite a mutation.
That is how memes evolve. And then the measurements got better. Google published an actual measured number last August. The median Gemini text prompt consumes 0.26 milliliters of water, about 5 drops.
5 drops, but hold on. Isn't that Google grading its own homework?
Good instinct, two honest caveats. Google's figure only counts water used inside the data center, not the water used generating the electricity, and Google's fleet is unusually efficient. You see Riverside's own estimates put a typical US data center at 2 to 5 milliliters on site for that era of model. Still drops in spoonfuls, still not a bottle.
And the researcher behind the original bottle estimate, he took it back.
Walked it back, not retracted, words matter. A blogger named Andy Massley dug into how the estimate was made this May. Shayla Wren, the senior author of the original paper, reached out to him afterward. And per the update Massley added to that post, Wren now agrees the estimate was reasonable at the time, but the real water cost of a GPT-4 era prompt was likely much lower, around 15 milliliters all in, and only 5 inside the data center itself, not a 500 milliliter bottle.
So the honest range is 5 drops for a modern efficient model measured on site, up to about a tablespoon for the older, thirstier ones once you count the power plant water too.
Which puts the bottle off by somewhere between 30 times and 1900 times, depending which end you take. And even the most expansive audited estimate out there, Mistral's life cycle number, 45 milliliters for a full page of text, counting training and the hardware, still leaves the bottle 11 times too big.
But the town scale problem stays real.
Completely real and growing. Lawrence Berkeley projects hyperscale data centers alone could reach as much as 124 billion liters a year by 2028. So worry about where the campuses get built and what they're permitted to draw. Just don't feel guilty about a chat message. The math does not support the guilt.
Okay, flip side. I keep seeing this study that says AI actually makes programmers slower. 19% slower. That feels like the anti-hype dream headline.
It does, and it's real, but it's my favorite example of a number that gets abused by both sides.
How so?
Last July, a research nonprofit ran a proper randomized trial. 16 experienced open-source developers doing real tasks on their own code, randomly told to use AI or not. And when they used AI, they took 19% longer, a real slowdown.
So the skeptics are right. AI slows you down.
Hang on, because the most interesting number isn't the 19. Before they started, these developers predicted AI would make them 24% faster. After they finished, having actually been slower, they still believed AI had sped them up by 20%.
Wait, they felt 20% faster, but they were 19% slower.
Felt faster, were slower, that gap is the real finding. It survives all the scrutiny.
That's kind of unsettling, actually.
It's the whole ballgame, but here's what the skeptics leave out. This was the single hardest case for AI, 16 elite maintainers and codebases they've known for years. Million-line projects they've maintained for years. On last year's early tools, the researchers said in plain English, this does not show AI fails to help most developers.
So you can't stretch 16 experts into everyone.
You cannot, and here's the part that kills the it's settled framing. They ran it again. Their own follow-up this February estimated the same developers when they came back were now about 18% faster.
The opposite result.
With huge error bars anywhere from way faster to a bit slower. So the honest read cuts against everybody. AI isn't a proven productivity drug, and it isn't a proven drag, but that feeling that it's helping, measure it, because it might be lying to you.
All right, the heavy one. Is AI taking the jobs? The headlines say AI is now the #1 cause of layoffs. 100,000 American jobs gone.
So this one's anchored to real data, which is why it lands. There's a firm that tracks US layoffs, and for 4 straight months this year, AI was the #1 reason companies gave for cutting jobs. Over 100,000 cuts blamed on AI so far this year.
And the big names are real, right?
All real. Oracle cut around 21,000 and actually blamed AI in a securities filing. Block cut 4,000. Cloudflare cut 20% of staff the same day it beat earnings.
That's a scary case. So what's the honest version?
2 threads pull the panic apart. First, the reason a company gives is not audited fact. That tracker just logs whatever reason the company volunteers. And AI is a very flattering label for we overhired or we're moving jobs overseas.
Overseas.
57% of Oracle's cuts were in India, not America. So 100,000 destroyed American jobs is a triple stretch. Announced, not confirmed. Blamed on AI by the company itself, and partly not even American.
And there was a study on this.
Harvard Business Review this January. Their headline says it all. Companies are laying off workers because of AI's potential, not its performance. It's a bet on what AI might do, not proof it did anything. And a majority of firms that cut for AI already regret it. One forecaster thinks half those jobs quietly come back.
Okay, but that's still a lot of layoffs.
Here's the gut check though, the total number of layoffs this year is normal, it's down on last year, and a big chunk of last year was one-off government cuts. Strip those out and this year is basically flat. The volume isn't a crisis. What changed is the label companies staple to it. AI is the fashionable reason.
So people are getting laid off.
Absolutely, and that's real pain. But blaming the robot is often a story that's easier to tell your shareholders than we hired too many people. Watch the jobs, don't just believe the reason.
Okay, one more, and this one's personal for a lot of people. AI cheating detectors. Schools use them to catch students using ChatGPT, and the vendors say they're 99% accurate. Can you trust them?
Short answer, no, and this is the one that actually hurts people.
Start with the kernel, though. They're not totally useless, right?
Right, concede it. If a student pastes raw, unedited ChatGPT straight in, a detector often will catch it. The tech isn't fake, the problem is the confidence, and who pays for it when it's wrong.
Okay, so who pays?
Non-native English speakers. There's a Stanford study from 2023. They took essays written by real humans, students taking a standard English proficiency exam, and ran them through 7 different AI detectors.
And
The detectors flagged over half of them as AI written. Average false positive rate 61%. Nearly every essay, 98% of them, got flagged by at least one detector, all human, all written by actual students.
61% for real human writing.
For real human writing by non-native speakers. Now here's the tell, the same detectors on essays by native English 8th graders, near perfect, barely a false flag.
So it's not detecting AI, it's detecting simpler English.
That's exactly it. They flag writing that's a bit plainer, smaller vocabulary, simpler sentences, which is just what it looks like to write in your second language. And the proof, the researchers took the flagged essays and asked ChatGPT to fancy up the vocabulary. The false positives dropped from 61% down to 12%.
So you beat the detector by making your human essay sound more like AI.
The whole thing eats its own tail, and it gets worse. OpenAI built one of these detectors and then quietly shut it down. Their own tool caught just 26% of AI text and falsely accused humans 9% of the time. They pulled it and said, low rate of accuracy.
The company that makes ChatGPT couldn't reliably detect ChatGPT.
Could not, and schools noticed. Vanderbilt switched off the big one, Turnitin, back in 2023. Their math was brutal. The vendor claimed a 1% false positive rate. Vanderbilt runs 75,000 papers a year. 1% is 750 students falsely accused every year.
Okay, but hang on. Devil's advocate. If a kid actually cheats, shouldn't the school have some tool?
Fair, and the honest answer is a detector can be one weak signal. What it cannot be is proof. A number that says 99% sure on a machine that flags real students 6 times out of 10 isn't evidence. It's a coin flip wearing a lab coat.
That's the line.
If your kid gets flagged, that's the receipt to bring to the meeting. The tool has a documented bias, and its own makers don't trust it.
Quick one before we wrap. If this is your first time with us, this podcast is the audio side of the Off the Cloud AI channel.
Same idea, different format. On the channel there are 2 series. The Explains videos, where we take one AI idea and actually make it make sense, in plain English.
And the Hype Check videos, where we do exactly what we did today. Take a wild claim and trade it for the honest number.
Everything sourced, everything run locally. No cloud, no vendor whispering in our ear.
So if a segment today made you go, wait, really? There's probably a video that goes deeper. Come find us, Off the Cloud AI.
And bring your skepticism, especially about us.
Especially about us. And that's the show. First episode in the books. If you want the receipts, every claim we made today is in the pinned comment. A link and an access date for every number.
And if we got a number wrong, tell us. We'll correct it on air in the next episode. That's the deal.
If Gemini 3.5 Pro ships while this uploads, well, you already know what next week's cold open is.
Hell, we do. That's the difference between hype and facts.
Off the Cloud.